October 28th. Thank you so much for being here. This is the last day of the week. I'm going to end the section we've been talking about legalism in the family. Next week, we're going to jump into something that I call personal legalism, which I personally think is the most destructive of all these various forms of legalism that we face. We'll get you a little bit of a sunset there. But remember yesterday we talked about this problem of kingdoms, and that too many families are interested and too many fathers are interested in building little kingdoms in their family. And all this does is perpetuate an idea of laws and rules and regulations which are man-made, sometimes dad-made, that everyone is supposed to obey the same way they obey God's law. But we can't do that. We've got to be committed to the things of God, His truth. So what I'm suggesting today is instead of building little kingdoms, let's build a greenhouse for our family. A greenhouse. A greenhouse is where there is nourishment, where there is preparation, where there's protection going on. Not kingdom building. Not aspiring to a set of rules and commands. It's not performance driven, but rather it's grace driven and nourishment driven. Let me try and explain this a little bit. The biblical goal of a family, a summary statement, the biblical goal of a family is to raise children whose hearts are confident, that's important, whose hearts are confident in living for the honor and glory of God. And then they want to extend those covenant mercies to their children and their children's children. That's the biblical vision. We see it in Genesis, but perhaps it's most powerfully summed up in Psalm 98. Let me read verses 5 through 7 of Psalm 78. Psalm 78, verses 5 through 7. He established a testimony in Jacob, and he set up a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers to teach their children, so that a future generation, children yet to be born, might know that they are to rise and tell their children about this beautiful privilege that God has given us, so that they might put their confidence in God and not forget God's good works, but keep His commands. You see the vision that's here, producing a generation of children who are confident in God, not who are worried about their status, not who are uncertain, are they performing well, are they pleasing God, are they pleasing mom and dad, but they're confident in the covenant mercies of God. This happens with a vision for a greenhouse, not a vision for kingdoms, but a vision for a greenhouse. And in that greenhouse, as I mentioned a moment ago, what's going on there is protection, nourishment, and preparation. We want to protect our children, nourish them, and prepare them. We want to warn them of the evils of this world, but how to know God in the middle of those things. I've talked about Ephesians 6:4 many, many times. And the goal there is to nourish our children up with the truths of God so that they're confident, so that they're not provoked to anger. This requires an effort of mom and dad working together. That's what builds a greenhouse. Look at Proverbs 6:20. My son, keep your father's command and do not forsake your mother's teaching. The two of them are together. Mom and dad are working together with a vision to raise children who are confident of their place with God and not looking over their shoulder all the time. Am I doing the right thing? Am I messing up? Children who are raised with the vision, as we've said before, of Psalm 103, where they're treated not as their sins deserve, but they are disciplined according to the love and mercy of God. just like you and I are not treated as our sins deserve. We discipline, we correct, but not on the basis of you deserve this, but on the basis of this is what it takes so that you can build confidence before God. The goal here is to make our homes a place of refuge so that you as parents can be lifelong places of resource for your children. But you've got to be a source of refuge and safety first, where your children are comfortable coming to you no matter what's happened to them, no matter what they've done, because they know that they will hear and be heard with the covenant mercies of God. They know that the Father in the prodigal son is waiting for them, not the father of who the elder brother would have been, not the father who would be a Pharisee who's waiting, I told you so. You have to earn your way back. But rather they're being received by the wonder and mercy of God because the Father has known those things. How do we do this? We want to have ears that really listen. We want to have pleasant words that respond to where our children are. We want to be committed to really knowing our children, not just controlling them, but knowing them. We want to be motivated by gratitude for the mercies extended to us, and then we want to be driven by the grace of the gospel. So I'm not focused on performance. I'm focused on the awe and wonder of God. This is how we bring about a vision for our children's children. This is done with the greenhouse, where our children are protected, nourished, and prepared. I've got a ton of videos on all these things, but I'm just summing up here tonight. If you have any questions, please bring them on because I want to respond, but this is important. What God wants us to do is to have this greenhouse where we realize it's temporary. Our children are just with us for a short time, and in that time, while they're in the greenhouse, we're protecting them, we're nourishing them with the mercy and grace of the gospel, and we're preparing them to live for God and God's honor in this world around us. A greenhouse and not a kingdom. The glory of the gospel, not the burden of rules. That's how we spread the truth of the gospel to our children and to our children's children. You have a great weekend, a good Lord's Day tomorrow. Look forward to your comments and feedback. Thank you so much for being here, and such a blessing to be with you. Thank you for watching. May God richly bless you as you seek to live for His glory.